So here are some non-negotiables when you're on the sales call. You firstly must have the camera on, right? And it's got to be eye level. So whether that be adjusting your seat, having your laptop on a desk or a webcam or something like that. You also want to make sure your background is kind of professional. I've got it blurred just because I'm in my room at the moment. The other thing that you need to make sure, and you've got to be crystal clear on this, and I'm going to take you through this in a different video, is you got to make sure that they're not driving. Right, you also got to make sure that they're not on their mobile phone, they are in front of a computer and no distractions. Now, if they are on a mobile phone or driving in the car, whatever it is, politely just reschedule. Okay, you must reschedule. It's not negotiable, right? You also got to dress up. So I always like to have a collared shirt on. I wear collared shirts and linen shirts mostly, so that's not an issue, but always dress up, look presentable, clean shaven, hair, and a good background, like I mentioned. Now, the introduction is obviously building rapport and just setting the agenda, right? So you obviously want to welcome them. Don't be a robot. Find common ground. Just be likable, right? Small talk, where they're from, what made them, pursue this industry and all of that. It's important to set the agenda here because a quarter or so of prospects will be direct and they will demand price straight out the gate or try to take control of the call. If you do not do this, then if you're a beginner, you won't know how to handle it if they question you on it and you're going to fumble the bag. And this is especially true for other sales professionals. Other sales professionals want to skip the BS and get straight to the price, and you want to avoid that. So you might say something like this. So John, this call will be short and sweet. What I'm going to do is just start off by asking you some quick questions about your business to make sure I can even help. And if it sounds like I can, I'll run you through what we do and a game plan, and you can let me know if it's a good fit or not. There will be plenty of time for you to ask me a bunch of questions, but do you mind if I ask you a couple first? Just for reference, if someone does try to take control and ask for the price up front, never, ever give it to them. You can say something like this. Before we get into that, John, my focus is to first get a better understanding about your business because right now I'm not even sure if what we do can help you. Is that okay? If they carry on about the price and are not satisfied with your answer, simply say, totally understand you want to know the price, but we have different offers at different price points depending on each client's needs. Hence why I'll see which option is best for you based on the answers I get from you. That will handle that pretty well, and yeah, they'll be satisfied with that. All right, so next is obviously discovery. This is super, super important, where they're currently at and where they want to go. It's important you get specific numbers here. There must be a gap between where they're at now and where they want to go, and this must be made abundantly clear. All sales is we're just building that bridge from where they are now and where they want to go, and just our solution is that bridge to solve that problem. This is arguably the most important part of the call. If you do not get the motivation out of them, it will be incredibly difficult to close. Some questions here, like why are they on the call? Beyond just obviously leads and appointments and making more money, right? Because that's ultimately why we're on the call, but why else? What have they done before? Right? How long have they been doing that? What was the biggest struggle with this method and why? And what were the results, right? Get specifics here. How are they currently getting clients? And do they even like this method? When you ask these questions, people really will open up and talk about all their problems and pains and what they're doing now and why they hate this and why they hate that and why they love this method and so on and so forth. I also like to assume here, just because you already should know what 90% of the prospects use for marketing, their biggest struggles. So talk about it, bring it up first, right? It shows you know what you're talking about. Next is obviously labeling the problem. Summarize what they've told you. So you've told me X, Y, and Z, and you've tried X, Y, and Z. Anything else you want to add? I'm curious, what happens if you don't solve this problem? So once they've given you all the pains and problems and what they've tried and why it didn't work and what they want now and all this kind of stuff, you can ask them this. I'm curious, that aside, what happens if you don't solve this problem? Oh, then this happens and that happens. And you're kind of digging for that pain a little bit more. Now, this is something that I would be cautious about with other sales professionals because they'll know what you're doing and probably shut you down quite quickly. So use this, this is kind of up to you, right? It's discretion. Can you help me understand a little bit more about X, Y, and Z? You can go deep with this on an individual point. So obviously, as they're bringing up their problems, what they've tried, and why this is important for them. Okay, can you tell me a bit more about that? Okay, can you explain that a little bit more? So you're always trying to dig deeper, as far as you can go. So I used to, back years ago, I used to do sales for a health and fitness program for diabetes, sleep apnea, and basically these people were severely overweight, borderline going to die, right? They had chronic health issues, and if they didn't lose weight, they were probably going to die in the next couple of years, right? They'd always cry on the phone and be like, oh, I need to do this, and this is why my partner, doesn't want to make love with me anymore. They think I'm ugly. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. I want to kill myself. And it was really deep and dark, right? And you would keep pressing them as to like, okay, well, why else is this important to you? And they'd reveal everything, and sooner or later, most of them would start to cry. And this is where you kind of want to get your prospect to the point that it's like, holy shit, I need to do something about this now. Otherwise, my future is not looking great. Like, we just kept asking like, why? And if they just said, oh, I just want to lose weight. Okay, well, why? Like, why? Oh, I want to look better. Okay, well, why do you want to look better? I want to make sure my wife finds me attractive. Okay, and why do you want that? Oh, and it always was physical intimacy, and then they would get into the specifics and all that. And that's what we're trying to do with why. You're always trying to ask why, so we can get to the main reason to why this is important. Because most people, when you ask that question, they're just going to give you a surface level answer. Then what most salespeople do is they accept that answer and then they move on. No. You've got to press deep and go deeper with it, because then when you go to the close, that motivation isn't enough to get the deal, right? So hopefully that makes sense. But again, this call is a conversation, right? No pressure, no fluff, no tactics. You're just having a chat about what they're struggling with and seeing how your offer can give them the solution that they want, right? That's it. Note, if you don't have past results, that is okay. Use other people in the industry, like industry experts that are using something similar and running similar campaigns to what you're doing. There are many people, like top 3 authorities, and go through what they're kind of doing. Throughout this whole call, we're getting many verbal agreements and tie downs. If you do not do this, you won't close the prospects. Next is the actual pitch. Do not sell the features. They don't care. They only want results. Explain why it hasn't worked for them in the past and how you're different. They need to see that. Why are you different, right? Why are you different? I like to use the 3 core principle method. All of this is simply what you do in 3 points. The more details you give, the more questions they have. The more questions they have, the more you'll face the objection. I need to think about it. Next is the pitch deck. So I do like to have a pitch deck, simple slideshow presentation. Can be used, but do not read it. I've found it is very niche dependent. If you're selling to other salespeople, you want to kind of keep it short. I sometimes don't even present a pitch deck to other salespeople. It's just a conversation like this. Focus on the system and how they'll benefit from it and why. And then it's the close. Before sharing the price, I like to ask something like this. So John, does this seem like something you're looking for or can help you achieve X, Y, and Z goal that they told you up here? And why do you, okay, and they say, yep, it sounds great. Okay, and why do you feel like this? And they'll explain, oh, well, because of this, and this. Fantastic. Awesome. So what I'd like to do is take you through how we can get you set up and onboarded. And then you can share the price with them. And that's it. And then obviously the objection handling. I have gone through this before, so I'm not going to go through it again. But, obviously we've got a price. We've got to think about it. I got to talk to my partner. Those are kind of the 3 most common objections. But this is how you close deals for your agency in 2024. Very simple, but it is all about probing and asking questions because it is a question-based framework. If you want more help with this, comment sales down below. If you want to message me, ask me any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.